You know, America deserves everything that's coming to it. This country is said to be the greatest country in the entire world. But yet this country is yet so full of corruption, so full of sin, so full of wickedness. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my country. This is where I was born. And I don't think I would rather stay anywhere else. When you learn about how just about everywhere else in the world, you don't really have any rights. But that's changing slowly but surely here in this country. America, when will you repent? When will this nation as a whole repent of its wickedness? All of the blood that has been sacrificed, all because of the lust of the flesh, the blood of unborn babies, because of the wicked sin of fornication. You individuals here cannot control yourselves. You can't control who you have sex with, and you want to get out of it. The responsibility, you want to get out of the outcome by murdering your children. Do you not think that the sin of this nation is not rising up to the nostrils of God? Do you not think that this nation is due for some catastrophic damage and judgment? Do you not think that everything that goes on here is going to go unseen by the eyes of God? Understand that the Lord is long-suffering. He's not like us. He doesn't snap like we snap when people do wrong against us. He's full of grace and he's full of mercy, but he's also a just God as well. He's also furious as well, especially since a rebellious nation like this continuously spits in his face. Especially when a rebellious nation like this continuously step on his word. Especially when this nation constantly puts him on the back burner and exalts themselves because of their own lustful desires. Pushing God out of the school, pushing God out of the government, when the Lord has ordained the government to do what is right for the people, but the government has turned their backs on God, trying to dictate the people because they've been corrupted by the principalities and the powers that rule this world, taking God out of everything. And we wonder why we're in the state that we're in. You want peace, you want change, but you don't want God. I'm sorry, folks, you cannot have peace without God. Jesus is the Prince of Peace, and as long as you reject him, you will get everything except for peace. Making a mockery of what he has ordained to be holy and beautiful. Something as gorgeous as marriage has been defiled by the hearts of men. Something like marriage has been disgraced because of the hearts of men. Two men getting married is not something that could ever happen. I don't care what this country says. I don't care what law says or what the people think of this society. Two people of the same sex can never, ever, ever get married, because marriage is ordained between a man and his wife, because they must come together in holy matrimony with Christ in the middle. A man and a man cannot come together, if you get my drift. A woman and a woman cannot come together, if you get my drift. So they always have to turn to surgery. They always have to turn to the wickedness of the mindset of man to try to fulfill the lust of their flesh and emulate what God has ordained to be natural. No matter what you do, Your DNA is your DNA, and you cannot change that. Trying to change that is wicked. But God bless America, right? And God we trust, right? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or are we talking about the God of this world? The little G God. Are we talking about him? Be very, very discreet on who you're talking about. America. There's a lot of good men and women of God here. And I honestly believe it's because of the true saints, the true men and women of God, that this nation is still here today. Because it reminds me a lot of the conversation that Lot had with God regarding Sodom and Gomorrah. If you go back and read in the book of Genesis, Lot pleaded with God because God had reached his limit with Sodom and Gomorrah, and he wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah for their wickedness, for their sin. They were doing things that were just completely inhumane. I know a lot of people like to say that, well, the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was homosexuality, but that wasn't just it. There were so many other things that they were doing. Bestiality, killing their children, sacrificing their kids. They were doing just so many wicked things that it just completely became inhumane, and the Lord wanted to pass judgment on them. But Lot pleaded with God. He said, Lord, if you find 100 here, will you destroy this place? And God said, if I find 100, I will not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Then Lot said, if you find 50 here, will you destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? And God said, if I find 50 that are deemed righteous, I shall not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. If you find 10 here, will you destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? And God, being so full of grace, said that if I find 10 that are righteous in Sodom and Gomorrah, I will not destroy it. He was willing to not destroy that land for 10 people. No matter how many he found righteous, he wasn't going to do it. But guess what? He only found one that was righteous, and that was Lot, and everybody else was wicked. So he saved him and made him flee and pass judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah. Perhaps the same thing may happen to this nation. Maybe there may be a day that God calls his people out of this nation so that he may pass judgment here. Who knows? I just know that this country has changed a lot. And I'm just curious, when is America going to repent? When is America going to turn back to the Lord? So much evil, so much wickedness, so much vile behavior. Such a godless place. It boggles my mind how anybody could ever question why things are the way they are. How could you ask that question when the answer is so easy? America's turned their back on God. Don't expect anything to change unless people change. Unless we get a revival. And to be honest with you, the only way that we may get a revival is if persecution comes to this nation. We need persecution. We need tribulation. The United States of America needs tribulation. This country needs something really, really bad to happen. Really bad. In the midst of chaos can come revival. Just like when 9/11 happened, everybody was crying, coming together. Church attendance was at an all-time high. People were seeking out answers. People were seeking out hope. People were seeking God around that time. And that was a very, very dark time period for this nation. It always has to take something terrible to happen for people to get up and to actually call on God. So don't be surprised if a dark cloud comes over this country and if tribulation comes this way, hardship. Because as a whole, this country needs it. It does. Repent, America. Saints, keep praying for the nation. Keep praying for people. Keep praying for the lost, for they know not what they do. Keep praying for them. God bless you all. Thanks for watching. If you're new, subscribe. Peace.